make some predictions for UFC Vegas 251 or Fight Night 251. First up, we got Jacqueline Cavalcanti versus Julia Avila. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I do not care about this fight. I am not gonna watch this shit. Most likely. I think Cavalcanti's like a massive favorite. Yeah, I believe so. We'll go Cavalcanti by second round flying omoplata. Next up, Walter Walker versus Dontel Mays. Probably going to be a terrible fight. I see why it's this early in the prelims. Walter, decent wrestler, brother of Johnny Walker, but does not fight like it. He fights like fucking, I don't know, like a blob wrestler. Dontel Mays is kind of a blob in his own right. Kind of crazy tattoos and a strange build, but one of those guys, you know, just one of those heavyweights, one of those fucking apex heavyweights that are like somehow good enough to be in the UFC, but are kind of terrible. So yeah, I think it'll be a close one. Terrible fight, most likely. But Dontel Mays has been taken out before. He's not terrible, but I don't know. Volter's also not looked the best either. But he looked the best he ever has against Junior Dafa in his last fight, so we'll go Walker by decision and him gassing out in the third round. Next up, fun fight. I'm pretty excited for this one. Vince Morales versus Elisha Smith. Kind of like an Unk versus Prospect fight. I remember Elisha Smith from the Contender Series. He had a good scrap with this guy who trained at like City Kickboxing. He was very short. He kind of gassed out in the last round. It was a fun fight, but yeah, it looked good. He was putting the beats on, bro, for the first 2 rounds. Oh shit, hold up. Got a message on the phone. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah. He looked good. Good wrestler. Decent striking. Good power. He kinda keeps his chin in the air a little bit when he throws, but he's a crisp boxer. Strong wrestler. Vince Morales, however, I really like him. I don't know why, but he's got one of those builds, and like I feel like he throws front kicks really well. He's got good boxing, solid grappling. Like he's a very well-rounded overall, solid fighter. Doesn't have the best wins in the UFC, but he's fought some really good guys. I thought he looked not terrible against Taylor Lapulus, who's very tricky to fight. He did lose that one, but it wasn't, you know, he lost comfortably, but it wasn't like a shutout. And I know when he got cut, he went on a crazy fucking streak. Outside of the UFC, I think, I know. I thought this was a short notice fight, but I guess not. That kind of changes it, because my initial thought was go Vince Morales by gassing out Elisha Smith over 3 rounds, but it's kind of tough if he had a full camp. I do want to go Vince because I like him, and he's fought the better competition, and he's a legitimate good fighter. I think this will be a very close fight, but I kind of have to go with Elisha Smith. Like, he's my age, which is crazy. He really did look pretty good on the Contender Series. You know, It's one of those ones that's a bit difficult to fight or to predict, but I am looking forward to it. I think it'll be a great scrap. And I'll go Elisha Smith by 29-28 decision. Maybe like out grappling him early and then kind of slowing down towards the end. Next up, Gabriel Bonfim versus Galen Williams. Oh, I swear he used to have a different first name. But I could be tweaking. Yeah, Williams, kind of like an OG. Damn, he's only 30. Wow. OG, like heavy hitter, one punch knockout, kind of scrapper, throwing big meaty hooks. Kind of one-dimensional, but has some decent wins. Not very technically sound, but he's always able to catch people. That being said, Bonfim, not a great start to the UFC. Got cooked by my boy Dalby. Beat Angelusa. Just an okay win. Lusa's not actually that bad. Yeah, good grappler. Great jids. Solid striking. Kind of like a first rounder bust guy. I was excited to see him against Renat. I'm pretty sad that that fight didn't go through, because that's a good test, and I always am interested to see how Renat fights go. But Kane Williams coming in short notice. I got Bonfim. I think it just has more ways to win. He was getting ready for a grappler in Renat, which might make it difficult, but I think he's gonna offensively wrestle, and if he does, I think he'll definitely beat Chaos. That's his name, Chaos. I guess Chaos is his nickname, not his actual name. I thought that was his actual name for some reason. But yeah, I'm gonna go Bonfim. I think he has more ways to win. He's probably gonna grapple because he's been preparing for a grappler, and that's the way to beat Chaos Williams, who's coming in on short notice. So yeah, I'm going Bonfim. Second round, rear naked choke, or maybe like armbar, something cool. Next up, Rafael Esteban versus Jesus Aguilar. Aguilar's good, bro. He's tiny, only 5'3", but great overhand right, decent striking, really good grappling, honestly, very good jiu-jitsu, phenomenal guillotine. Only lost to Tatsuro Tairo, I believe. I thought the last guy, was it the last guy? No. Mateus Mendonca. I thought he was gonna get cooked by Mateus because he's much bigger. And it was a close fight for sure, but he looked a lot better against a guy who's way bigger than him. So I don't think this will be a one-sided fight. I don't think Esteban is gonna run the room or anything, but he is a great grappler, and it's so hard to pick against those guys who just fucking shoot, have like a decent cardio, and really good positional control. Like, they just float over their opponent and out-scramble them. It's so hard to pick, God damn it, against a fighter who fights like that. So I'm gonna go Esteban by kind of a boring decision. I think it might play out similar to the Charles Johnson fight, where Aguilar has good moments, but ultimately gets controlled and then comes back in the third round. So Esteban by decision. Next up, Angela Hill versus Caitlin Souza. had really good knees at one point. Now, like most Muay Thai fighters, she kind of transitioned to a more grappler, boxer kind of style. But I still think, even though she's old, she's doing well. I can't believe she's 5'2". I thought she was way taller. She's been working a lot on her grappling, doing grappling tournaments. I see her Instagram posts every now and then, and she's underrated, bro. She's like sneakily funny. Seems like a great person with a great sense of humor. And a pretty good fighter too. She's fought the best of the best in the strawweight division, and hung in there with a lot of them. Souza, I know she's coming off a pretty nasty knockout or submission, I think. But she rocked the girl first at the Sphere card. Kind of like, I think she beat another person, kind of like that, where she was a big underdog and just fucked them up. Okay, never mind. But yeah, kind of a big mediocre kind of girl, swanger and banger type of fighter, which is, she could catch Angela Hill on the chin, but Angela's tricky. She's got so many tools, especially with her grappling now being much improved. She is a lot older, 10 years, but her last fight, who'd she fight? Tabitha Ricci, I think, or Luana Pinheiro. She submitted, not bad, bro. She hasn't been looking bad, even though she is old. I'm going Angela Hill by decision. Next up, Connor Matthews versus Jose Delgado. Should be a fun fight. I don't know why I thought Connor Matthews was Irish. I remember people talking about him being a big Irish, not star, but fighter in his last fight. But he trains at New England Cartel, so I don't think that was correct. But either way, Delgado, Contender Series guy. I'm gonna be honest, I could not find the full fight. I don't know. I guess it's on Fight Pass, the Contender Series fights. I mean, they're probably on ESPN too, but when you look up their name, it doesn't show up. So I just saw his finish, which was nasty. The guy gassed out, and he had a clean flying knee. But he looked sharp in that one clip I saw of him. He looked way more composed than his opponent. Really good at lining his opponent up, using his reach, and then he just lined up that fucking flying knee and slammed him with it. Connor Matthews got cooked up by Bazooka, Dennis Bazooka. I thought he looked kind of bad in that fight, honestly. Bazooka's not the greatest, and he was just catching him, just hurting him in every exchange that they would throw. So I'll be honest, I'm not the most educated on this fight, but I do think Connor Matthews will get caught by Jose Delgado. So I'll go Jose Delgado by second round KO. Next up, Andre Petrosky versus Adolfo Vieira. I think this is gonna play out on the feet. Either that or Vieira's gonna offensively grapple and get a submission. I don't see Petrosky having a whole lot of offensive grappling success, nor do I think he's gonna try to. I think he's gonna try to put a pace on Vieira, because that's the way to beat him. Because he does gas out, although he's been working on it. I think this is gonna be a shitty stand-up fight. You get two good grapplers, results in a shitty stand-up fight. So that being said, I do think Vieira has the edge on the feet. He's a little more sharp, a little quicker, I believe, and I think he can kind of close decision against Petrosky. Just on the feet, cooking him up. Next up, I'm really looking forward to this fight. Nazim Sadikov versus Ismail Bonfim. Bonfim had a lot of hype. Cooked Darren Smithkenny. They both did, honestly. And then Bonfim got cooked by what's his name? Benoit Saint Denis. And then came back against Vince Michel. Looked okay. Beat him by decision. I think this is like a pick'em. I think these guys are very evenly matched. I have no clue how this fight is gonna go because they're both very well rounded and very like fun, exciting fighters. But I think Sadikov's a decent underdog, which surprises me because, although he went to war with Borishev, I think he's a solid fighter, like just outside of the top 15 kind of fighter. And I think Bonfim is the same, so I'm very excited to see how it plays out, but it's very hard to predict. I do think I'm gonna go Sadikov. He's from that region, Tajikistan or whatever the fuck, that kind of area. It's hard to bet against those guys. And yeah, but I could see Bonfim winning as well. I think it's, I don't know, I was gonna say it's gonna go to decision, but these guys are both kind of like finishers, honestly, so fun fight, looking forward to it. I'll go Sadikov just to pick the underdog because I think the line should be closer. I'll say it by like, I don't know, head kick, KO, third round. Next up, Edmund Shabazian versus Dylan Budka. Fucking Edmund Shabazian fight, bro. Impossible to predict. If you've watched Edmund Shabazian's career progression, you would know that this guy is so inconsistent. Sometimes he looks phenomenal, puts the beats on guys, and most of the time, as of late, he's been getting cooked on the ground, especially. And Budka is a good wrestler, but he has no cardio. He's all explosivity, big ball of muscle. But once he, shoots a couple takedowns, he's cooked. His fucking gas tank is terrible, as is Edmund's. So I think this could be a very sloppy fight if it gets past the first round. I'm gonna go Shabazian just because I'm praying, bro. Like, you've had years to work on the grappling, learn how to defend these takedowns and get up. I mean, it's not something I'd put money on, but, I'm just hoping with that much time, you learn how to defend a takedown from fucking Dylan Budka and cook him up on the feet, which I do think he has a massive advantage on the feet. He's had a whole camp, I'm pretty sure, so come on, Edmund. You can defend these fucking takedowns, bro. Like, this is your fight to lose. So I'll go Shabazian, second round, KO, TKO, to the body. After Budka gas is Jesus. Next up, Kelvin Gator versus Yusef Zalala. I like Zalal. He's one of my favorite, like, Apex era fighters. Even though he went to decision a lot, I remember thinking, like, oh, this guy's fucking good. Like, this guy's legit. And he is. He's got phenomenal grappling. Really uses his grappling and striking too. I mean, he's just a very high volume guy. I was listening to him on the Jackson podcast, of Zalal, got cut, which I thought was bullshit in the first place. And then came back and started finishing motherfuckers, bro. Getting these subs. And I understand why he's a massive favorite. He's like minus 400, which is insane. But he has been looking phenomenal. Amazing gas tank, great cardio, solid striking, great volume. Like, he is a very well-rounded and just like high-level fighter. He's got a good fight IQ and technique too. So I get the hype, but minus 400 against a only 36. I thought he was like 38, 36-year-old Calvin Kattar, who, although he lost to Aljo, bro, Aljo was scrambling like crazy with fucking Mozar Evloev, who does like nothing but wrestle, and he wasn't able to really get any damage off or sub Calvin Kattar. Like, it was a shitty fight, but he didn't look good on the feet, but like, he defended a lot of the takedowns. Most of the fight was against the cage. I feel like people are, and that's against Aljo, who I think is one of the best grapplers at 145, you know, so I think people are totally underestimating Calvin Kattar here. I might put a bet on Calvin Kattar just because the odds are too fucking juicy not to. And besides Taporia, Zalal hasn't fought anyone at Kattar's level yet, I don't believe. So I'm going Calvin Kattar. I think he's definitely got the advantage on the feet, and you would hope that after his last fight, he's been working on the grappling tirelessly. And yeah, stand-up is nasty. People forget, man. People forget. Dude, he has some nasty knockouts. Like, I love Calvin Kattar, bro. His striking is beautiful to watch. His knockout against Shane Burgos was insane. Fucking, who else? Jeremy Stevens. I remember that shit like it was yesterday. I was like, you know, I was into the UFC, but I wasn't like into it yet. And I remember him laying that elbow right to the nose, the bridge of the nose of Jeremy Stevens, and putting him out. And fucking Jeremy was looking at the stars. His face was all like frozen up. Nasty elbow. Like, he's got some brutal finishes. Beat Dandy Gay. I fucking missed that fight because that shit was on a Wednesday. Y'all remember that? Fight Night 172 in 2020. They had like two cards in the same week. That shit was on a Wednesday, and I was looking at my phone, scrolling through Instagram, and I saw some shit about Calvin Kattar, and I was like, fuck, I forgot, dude. I don't think they've not had a fight on, you know, or had a fight not on a Saturday ever since that. But yeah, just kind of weird memory there. Got cooked by Max Holloway, and then everyone thought like, oh, this guy's done. The Arnold Allen fight, we never got to see that play out. Got fucking injured. That sucked, because that would have been a great scrap. Lost to Josh Emmett, but a lot of people think he won. I low-key thought Josh Emmett won that fight, but most people thought he did. And then he came back against Chikadze after the Max Holloway fight and fucking put the whoops on Giga. I love Giga, but Calvin put the beats on him. Nasty elbows. Like, he's beat some good competition. He's a great striker. I think people are underestimating him because of his last fight. I do think Zalal could, you know, he's a smart fighter. I could see him winning the decision. Putting the pace on him, gassed him out, wrestling heavy, but I gotta go Calvin Kattar. I'll go Calvin. Second round. Elbow. TKO.
fun fight. Solid fucking Apex main event. I do think there's gonna be more grappling than people expect. But I do think it'll be a very fun fight. I'm very excited for this one. Great matchmaking, in my opinion, by the UFC. Gregory Rodrigues is like 5 inches taller, but Jared Cannonier has 2 more inches of reach. I did not know that. That's kind of crazy. Jared Cannonier is only 5'9" at middleweight. He seems like a lot taller than that. Gregory Rodrigues, a little bit inconsistent, but a solid fighter, top 15 kind of guy, in my opinion. Has some nasty knockouts, great grappling, looks like Obama. Is fucking big for the division. He's pretty huge. And yeah, a lot of good wins. My boy Chidi and Chikawani caught him, but he came back. He's tough as fuck. Fun fighter. So yeah, it's a tough one to predict because I really do like Cannonier, and I think he's not washed, even though he got knocked out in his last 2. It's against Barrio and Imavov. Like, those are both top 5 guys who are coming up, and he made it competitive with both of them. So I think this is a step up in competition for Rodrigues for sure. And Jared's got that strength, bro. I think he's got one of the best physiques in the UFC, no homo. He, like, you can tell he's got big ass tendons. You know, some people have those, like, alright, pause. But some people have those, like, gorilla like tendons where they're just like, you can tell, like Ilya, like that motherfucker is strong, bro. Like their tendons, their skeletal structure, like they're just strong. Like if it was Roman times and they were in like a gladiatorial situation, they would be able to fight off like fucking 40 peasants with ease. I think it's because he was at heavyweight for a long time, so his body was like carrying that weight, that extra weight for so long that once he's cut down, it's like, yeah, bro, that body's been through some shit. It's been constantly under load for fucking a couple of years. But anyways, I'll stop glazing Cannonier's strength, but that's just something I always think about when he fights. Yeah, tough one to predict and break down. Gregory's on the up and up, training with Alex Pereira. I saw a clip of them sparring. You know, his chin is a little questionable, but Jared hasn't really knocked anyone out clean in a while. But he still does have power that you need to respect. I think Gregory might offensively grapple, just mix it up, which I could see him finding success in. But again, Cannonier is strong, bro. Like, he's going to be shorter, and he's going to be a lot fucking stronger, in my opinion. Maybe not a lot, but definitely stronger. I think he'll definitely have the better cardio, too. I think if Jared can push a pace on Gregory, maybe offensively grapple himself, because Cannonier has underrated fucking offensive, like, ground and pound. He has some of the most nasty ground and pound in the UFC. Like, once he's able to get on top, he's got strong hips. Kind of reminds me of Volkanovski a little bit. He likes the stack guard, fucking throwing like nasty hooks. So I think if Cannonier can get this to the later rounds and push a pace, he'll be able to take him down and, you know, kind of ground and pound Gregory to a decision or a TKO. But that being said, he's not the kind of fighter that really puts a heavy pace on most people. Besides Marvin Vettori, like, I don't remember a fight where he was really pushing the pace. It's usually kind of like back and forth, like him and his opponent. Like, someone will have success and then he'll have success. It's never like Max Holloway, where he's gonna impose his will, and it's like, nah, you're fighting at my pace, bro. Um, so I do think that's unlikely that outcome occurs. But the way I see Gregory winning is just catching him on the feet. His chin has been rocked in his last two. He is getting older. I think his brain is trying to protect itself. I do think he looks fine. Like, I don't think, even though he's about to be 41, he started late. He started at like fucking 27 or 28 or some shit. I don't know. I was totally making that up, to be honest. But I remember him talking about like being in the army and like having a kid and like a family in Alaska before he even started training. So he was a late bloomer in the sport. And I think, hey, black don't crack, bro. I think he's one of those guys who ages very well. It's a tough one, bro, because he could catch Gregory. Gregory doesn't have the best chin either, but he's on the come up. He's on the up and up. So hard. I'll go with my boy Jared Cannonier by decision. Or you know what? I'll go 4th round ground and pound TKO. But I would not be surprised if Rodrigues catches him on the feet or offensively grapples and like gets a submission. So those are my picks. Decent card. I'm pretty excited for it. A lot of fucking canceled fights. The goddamn UFC, bro. The worst part of the sport is the canceled fucking fights. You have these cards that are like so fun, and then boom, 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 boom. Like just today. It's always like a day before the fights happen too. Which I'm telling you is because of fucking weight cutting, bro. Goddamn weight cutting. Having to cut fucking 30 pounds in like 2 weeks is not healthy for these guys. And then training and smashing your body into fucking like mitts and bags and pads and other people. Like, it's not